a tribute to Raila Odinga, saying that we need to honor Raila Odinga because he contributed to the Constitution of Kenya reforms. We need to honor Raila Odinga because he fought for a better country. But there are things I felt the president should have addressed in his State of the Nation address that he did not address. And I will speak into them, then get to the State of the Nation address and as to the actual address and as to what the president said in that address. If you would ask me, I expected the president to mention something to do with the cost of living and what his government is doing about it or willing to do about it, and the interventions his government is preparing to inject into the country going into 2027. Secondly, I thought this was an opportunity for the country to fire some CSs who, in our opinion, have refused to perform, have not delivered for his government or our government and for this country. Top of the list was CS Murkomen. Not because he's incompetent, as some people say, but because he is unwilling to reform the Interior Ministry. He is unwilling to crack the whip on goons. He is unwilling to whip the Ministry of Interior into discharging its mandate to the young people. Tell me why CS Murkomen has not arrested the mobilizers of goons. But he says in every other address that he knows who is mobilizing goons.
Okay.
And he says he has gotten that information from the NIS. So why not arrest them? CS Murkomen, in every other address, appears to be distancing his office and police officers from blame for criticism and for failures, I guess, and inaction by police officers who are under him. When we say the police have failed to curb banditry in Rift Valley, he should take that as a wake-up call, not as an opportunity to defend the police officers. When we say the Ministry of Interior has failed us because it has not shown to Kenyans and proven to Kenyans that it is willing to address the issue of police reform, that should not give Murkomen an opportunity to bore us with speeches that do not solve the problem. When Kenyans say we are losing young people and Kenyans in general in police cells, as the Minister for Interior, we expect him to commission an audit on the same, to push for the prosecution of these police officers, and to put the internal affairs unit of the police service to action. We also expect Murkomen to, if he has reason to believe Gachagua is funding goons, to arrest him. Because this entire back and forth between him and Gachagua is not healthy. In every other address about goons and police affairs, Gachagua points fingers to Murkomen. Murkomen points fingers to Gachagua. What then is the reprieve for the Kenyan people who are saying, wait guys, we are not interested in your petty fights. We are interested in a solution to these problems. That was one of the CSs I thought should have been fired. Not reshuffled, fired. As for the other issue I thought the president should have addressed was the the notion today and the perception that the president micromanages everything. That the president does not respect the independence of independent commissions and offices. That the president coerces his cabinet to conform to his wishes in disregard of their constitutional mandate and in disregard of better advice. And he had an opportunity to confirm to Kenyans that he indeed does delegate duties and he listens to his junior officers and he's given them some autonomy to deliver for this country. And I would also expect the president to have tackled or appeared to address the issue of unemployment in this country and drug abuse amongst the young people. And he missed an opportunity to talk about these issues. Maybe he will have another opportunity in another State of the Nation address. But so far, I think he failed us in that. And as I get to the State of the Nation address, I don't think it is honest, Kimathi, for us to sit here and discuss another vision, because part of the State of the Nation address was as to a new vision. Whatever Gachagua was saying was Vision 2060. Why would we sit down as Kenyans to start discussing a new vision when we have not implemented in totality an existing vision? We did not implement Vision 2030 to its
Do you see?
zenith.
Yeah, Vision 2030. There's some of the people who failed Kenyans in implementing Vision 2030. No? And also, Maki also remember that who brought Vision 2030?
Kibaki, 2008.
Kibaki 2008, then
and initiated the implementation of the Vision 2030 by starting the Konza Technopolis, by building roads, by building dams, and by initiating the LAPSET program.
And or what does Uhuru
took over. William Ruto was his deputy for 10 years. So he cannot escape blame here. Because as deputy president, he is the first advisor to the president. And he helps the president craft an agenda for the people of Kenya. Before we discuss the Big Four agenda, I think it was the Big Four agenda.
Yeah.
William Ruto should have advised Uhuru Kenyatta to first implement Vision 2030. And he should have steered the president and the cabinet, because he sat at cabinet for 7 years. He says he stopped attending cabinet meetings at his 7th year for reasons best known to him. He has tried to explain himself here and there. But point is, he sat at cabinet for 7 years. And he did not come out to Kenyans and lament on how the regime which he was part of, as at that point, was unwilling to implement Vision 2030. That confirms to us that even him was not interested in implementing Vision 2030. Because if the president, his president back then, was unwilling to listen to his counsel on Vision 2030, the deputy president, who was William Ruto, should have come out to address Kenyans on the same. And if Uhuru was so, stubborn and obstinate as to implementing Vision 2030, William Ruto should have resigned from his government and said, well, I don't think we are on the right track as a country. And as a deputy president, I will not sit here to deputize you as you take this country to the ditch. We are veering off Vision 2030. There is little regard to it. And I don't think we are delivering for Kenyans as was envisioned in Vision 2030. So today, William Ruto comes up with a new vision and wants us to forget that there was another vision, which he did not push for its implementation when he was deputy, and he did not implement when he was president, or when he is president today, because he has had 4 years to implement Vision 2030. I have not heard him address Vision 2030 in the 4 years he has been president. At least not with the same fervor and persistence and the same passion and zeal he does talk about affordable housing and the SHA. And William Ruto should not forget that a country that is dying of hunger, a country that is losing its people to hunger, a country that has a food crisis and a looming one, cannot afford the luxury of discussing another vision. We are not even sure if we will get to 2060. In a country where the rule of law does not seem to carry the day, where abductions, torture, enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings appear to be the order of the day, cannot afford to discuss another vision before it assures its people that they will live to see that other vision. And that's part of the reason why we have a problem with this new vision that is being discussed. And if you would also ask me, I think this vision is supposed to be a distraction, so that we stop discussing where this government has gotten it wrong in 4 years and start discussing another vision, start discussing another narrative, and move on to another conversation without first solving the problems we have here with us today. It is an opportunity for William Ruto to sanitize his government and to usher in a new narrative, a new conversation, a conversation into converting Kenya into a first world country. And of course, blind us to is maladministration and bad governance and policy guesswork and inactions of his government that have been perpetuated for 4 years. And we are not going to sit down as Kenyans to be fooled by beautiful speeches and ornate language as to another vision, as to a referendum, as to a national conversation, national consensus, forgetting that this administration has wreaked terror on citizens. This administration has robbed us of our dignity. This administration has mismanaged the education sector and the health sector. And to us, those conversations matter more than a conversation on a new vision. And you would forgive me for appearing to be bitter with this administration, but there is little to praise, honestly, in this administration. If there was a lot going on positively for this current regime right now, I think opinion would be split half. Half the country would be saying William Ruto deserves another term, he has performed, and half the other country would be saying we need another leader, probably who has a different manifesto, agenda, or plan. But as it is right now, even from the opinion polls that have been conducted in the past few months and even before that, you realize that 60 to 70% of the country thinks we are on the wrong direction. And you cannot wish that away because it's a sampling of counties all over the country. And if going by the opinion polls, Kenyans feel just like I do on matters delivery from this government, I think it would be illogical to expect us to sit here to start praising what there is not. Yeah. William Ruto urged us to protect this constitution. That appears to be a noble conversation. But coming from someone who fought this constitution, coming from someone who's captured parliament, coming from an administration that has bribed MPs to pass punitive bills in this country, I think he does not have the authority to lecture us on this. And coming from an administration that wanted to transfer IPOA, an independent commission, to the Ministry of Interior and domicile it under Murkomen. We don't see that good faith from him. And William Ruto also wants us to discuss political tolerance and inclusion. But coming from the same man who referred to the Gen Zs as treasonous criminals and as anarchists, when all they did was voice frustration as to the finance bill and as to his mismanagement of this country, I think it is very dishonest. And from a president who was not called out his juniors who have pushed divisive politics in this country. Duale is a cabinet secretary who referred to the people from Mount Kenya as heinous. Farah Maalim now sits in government. An MP who said that if given an opportunity, he would be killing 5,000 Gen Zs a day. Murkomen is sitting in his government, while at the same time he enjoys the privilege of preaching hate speech every other day. This same government has legislators who alluded to the possibility of adding up votes or stealing votes in favor for the president. I think the president does not have the authority to lecture us on tolerance and political inclusion when those that are in his government are preaching water and he's drinking wine. He needs to rein in on those that are in his party, those that are in government and in public service who are abusing their offices and who are preaching hate speech and division. And as I wind up finally, I think it is illogical for this president to set his own exam, invigilate his own exam, mark his own exam, and award to himself a scorecard of success. Because from where I sit, I thought you should let others set your own exam. You should let others invigilate you. You should let others mark your exam. Then give you a scorecard on what you think you have achieved. Because the president takes to the podium every other day to chest thump. In his bravura, he thinks he has delivered for Kenyans, and we should see it the way he does see it, and we should not question his misgivings. And then that brings the entire conversation of, is he a narcissist? Is he a one-man kind of government? Does he want to micromanage everything, including our own opinion on him? At least he should afford us the opportunity to judge him on our own metrics, not by his own exam. And he should not certainly set his own exam and mark it. Asante.